Greg, almost 79,000 people came to Lambeau Field on Thursday night to say goodbye or, I don't know, say hello again to Brett Favre. The Bears were the sacrificial lamb.
Right.
That's what we thought.
It was like homecoming night.
Instead, what happens is...
Bring in Samford.
Yeah, bring in Sanford. Bring in, what was that Globetrotters team?
The Washington Generals.
The Generals. That's what they were supposed to be, the Bears. But instead, the Packers, again, can't get rolling offensively. The Bears make plays when they have to. Jay Cutler plays a turnover-free game. And guess what? At the end, the Bears get the big stop, 17-13. The Bears win, move to 5-6. Good job, John Fox. Deal with that, Greg. And the Packers have now lost 4 of 5, including a game. I call this, Greg, one of the biggest upsets of the season, considering everything around this game.
I agree because of the history between those two teams. But you know what else was one of the biggest upsets of the season? 2 weeks ago, when Detroit won for the first time in Lambeau in 24 years. So this is now happening a couple times for Green Bay, and we'll get to the impact on the Packers and their struggles throwing the ball, but we got to give some love to this Bears defense. You said it. I think John Fox, Adam Gase, the offensive coordinator, they're doing about as good a job as any of these teams in the middle of the pack in terms of a coaching staff. You saw that Tracy Porter pick. I mean, that's the first time we've seen Tracy Porter since he picked off Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. He's having a great game. You have no names up and down that defense playing well week after week. And Jay Cutler, the stats aren't that pretty, but he's making big plays on 3rd and long.
Here's the thing. Wessling didn't show up for this. And if he was here, he would definitely find a way to say that Jay Cutler...
Wessling, our friend here.
Yeah, Wes would find a way to say Jay Cutler did not deliver a big game. He just he was around. But you know what the truth of the matter is? Jay Cutler's having a really good season, and the Bears are in playoff contention in large part because Jay Cutler is playing a smart brand of football. He did it again in a big spot tonight.
You know what you're seeing on a lot of these highlights? 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 8s. These are throws to Marquess Wilson. Mark Mariani had a huge play where he breaks a tackle on a 3rd and long early to set up a touchdown when it looked like the drive was going to be over. He's throwing to guys who have never really played significant snaps at wide receiver in the NFL. He's also got Alshon Jeffrey, and he's breaking tackles. He's making good movement in the pocket. I think he's playing really well. If you didn't know who the two quarterbacks in this game are, you'd say they were about even. I think Rodgers was not the problem for Green Bay tonight. The series ended with a Lacy fumble, a Devontae Adams drop.
Well, the pick in the 4th was terrible.
The pick in the 4th was terrible. You had the fumble snap by the center. I don't think it was a terrible Rodgers game, but Cutler's holding his own.
Well, 2 things with the quarterback. Yeah, Cutler moving like a Tom Brady, like sensing the pressure around him, doing things that you'd never think that Jay Cutler will do. And on the other side, I'll say it, listen, it wasn't a great game, but the fact that you're saying that Cutler and Aaron Rodgers played about the same level. Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be torching the Bears in his building in prime time. And, this is not new when you lose 4 times in 5 weeks, that there's major problems with the operation. And it's not all on him. We've heard Jordy Nelson isn't there and all that stuff. But the problem is, Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be better than this, that he's supposed to be carrying this team and taking a bunch of mortals and making them bigger. I need to reevaluate my whole viewpoint on Aaron Rodgers. And I know he hurt his left arm in this game, and there was some reports that he lost feeling in the arm and the hand, and that could obviously play into it. But Aaron Rodgers has got to be better than this.
No, yeah, he was struggling before that. It was in his non-throwing hand. He toughed it out, played through it, and they couldn't score at the end of the game. I don't think Rodgers is the number one problem, of course. But you're right. You expect him to lift up his receivers, and you think of the 2 key ones. Devontae Adams keeps dropping passes, but he's also not on the same page as Rodgers often. Rodgers thinks he's going one way, he's going another. You really saw it on the interception. Something happened there. You're seeing the same thing with Randall Cobb week after week. So that's 2 really of his main 3 receivers that he's not on the same page, and he's got to get that worked out. That's something that Brady and Manning, that's what they're great at.
And let's give it to the Bears here because I believe, the NFL Now Game Day Blitz program.
I'm well aware of it. We're on it.
We're on it almost every Sunday. One of us are. And someone, I won't say who it was, but someone said that they believe that the Bears would go 0-16.
I want to know who.
And that was silly, whoever said that, and I don't want to say who it was because it's embarrassing for them. But at the same time, I will say that I think everyone thought this was a 4-5 win Bears team.
Yes.
And John Fox, who you've never been a fan of. I'm a bigger fan of John Fox. This guy knows how to get the most out of his talent. And I think this Bears team should keep an eye on them in that 6th playoff seed.
Look at the upcoming schedule here. Versus 49ers, versus Redskins. You win those 2 games.
Home games.
You're 7-6 going into Week 15. I don't necessarily think they're going to the playoffs, but if you're talking about a really meaningful Week 15 game at Minnesota where you're 7-6, that is way more than any Bears fan dared to expect.
Think about they start 0-3, correct?
They were getting blown out by good teams. They're getting blown out.
They look like the worst team in football, and now they're in the mix. This is, Greg, one of the weirdest football seasons, and I probably would say this every November or December, but this one feels weirder than ever. I can't figure anything out, and the Bears and Packers are 2 examples.
Maybe it's the year where this is just getting started. Jay Cutler's going to win every game the rest of the way and bring them to the playoffs.
Joe Flacco did it. Eli Manning did it. Anything is possible. Check out the Around the NFL podcast 3 times a week.